Fight Club 5.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there we go.
I use an Android app called Squire. I quite like that. I haven't tried the other one.
I was just online going for a couple of websites that usually do like character sheet generation, and it looks like Wizards of the Coast have gone through and like copyright taken down all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So they look like they're enforcing their copyright against the websites that generate character sheets.
Listen, no one ever said that they were intelligent.
Yeah.
I use pen and paper.
Yeah, that's probably the smart thing to do. I just worry that if I do it with pen and paper, I'm just going to do it wrong.
Hey, I can hear y'all now.
Hello.
Hey!
Hello.
Judd, are you online?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good.
that's him.
Is that everybody then?
Talking.
Yep.
All right. Now, it's been 2 weeks, so we're practically meeting for the first time again. Who that was here did the recap?
That was me, Adam.
Right, Adam, you're exempt, and the rest of you three, go ahead and roll d20s. And if it was someone that wasn't here, then it's going to show exactly how much research you did into where we were last time.
No, fuck.
Yeah. Josh, 13.
Ooh, Trevor, pulling out the 18.
Is that good or bad?
That depends on what Judd gets.
I will. I don't have any dice with me at this. 14.
14. So, Trevor, you're in charge of the recap.
Yeah, I actually never had time to watch that video. Unfortunately.
Fantastic.
I was definitely hoping to get the recap from y'all.
Judd, you're in charge of the recap.
I am. Oh, delightful. We started in the jail due to some poor deception on everybody's part, I feel.
Thank you for not singling out Sonny there.
Yeah. We were not believed to be who we claimed to be. And there were some threats of torture. We had to attack, basically.
Attack the wall.
Yeah, the lieutenant ran due to some very poor strength checks. We very much struggled to get out the back wall before some brilliant magic burnt the building to the ground with us in it. We got out the back. We escaped into the wood. We managed to avoid pursuit. Well, we were pursued, but something scared away pursuit. And we were then stalked through the woods by what we eventually saw to be a large antler-horned creature. Escaping onto a little halfling boat and getting back to town. We had a bit of an argument with the guard captain, and that's, I think, where we left it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Right. So the first thing that we're going to do before I start narrating is that the next series of events are going to occur after the next day. So everybody, if you haven't already, and I don't remember where we were with this, but take a long rest advantage and restock and reboot everything from scratch. Because it'll be the next day. Good?
Mm-hmm.
Great. So, it's the next day. And all of you have ended up back in Drury's Tavern. And you're all there in the sort of the main inn bit, the bar area where you first met only a few days ago. And it's much more populated now than it used to be. So there's 10 wooden tables. It looks exactly the same as you remember. 10 sort of sturdy, rugged wooden tables, each with mismatched chairs all around. It's kind of dimly lit. There's a big fire crackling, and then there's also a few other smaller torches and here and there. But it's pretty dimly lit, so it's hard to make out who you're all there with, and then over by the fire is a human bard, and he's playing a lute, a sad song about losing his loves and whatnot. He's got a pretty bushy beard, and he's performing for everybody in the bar. The air is thick with blue smoke from the pipes and cigars and cigarettes of all of the patrons. It's hanging thick in the air. And you've got all kinds of adventuring types here in Drury's Tavern. She sees quite a variety. So she's got, elven rangers and dwarven clerics and half-orc barbarians and halfling bards and all manner of sort of adventurers are sort of mismatched around all of these tables. And Drury, the halfling innkeeper that we've met before, is tending to the patrons, tending bar, and she sees you as you sort of walk in and sit down, and she gives you a knowing nod.
Drury, have we got a tale to tell you?
Oh, I'm sure I've heard of it before. I see a lot of people, but go on, lay it on me.
I'm talking deception, romance, fires.
Romance.
I saw the way that beast looked at you with a glint in its eye.
Oh, it sounds like quite the tale.
Yeah, we saw a Wendigo.
Did you now? A Wendigo? Well, we haven't had one of those in a while.
Did we know it was a Wendigo, or did we just see it?
You sussed it out when you went to
right,
see.
Yes. I have a little scroll with all the details of it on it at the moment.
You went to see the old fancy man. What's he called?
Yeah.
Rayarks? No, that's the god. We went to see God.
I'm rapidly trying to find my notes from.
I know.
know.
So am I. Old fancy man. It's immaterial.
Oh, fancy man.
Yeah. So well, what else? What else? You're here in one piece.
Only just
Well.
those bandits in the woods that seem to be not so much of a problem for your local militia.
As you say that, actually, Conga, yes, thank you, Jordan. As you say that, suddenly the door flies open, and you see two figures stoop underneath the lintel and stand on the other side. One is an orc, standing a 6'3", 6'4", and one is a dragonborn at a solid 7 feet, probably 400 pounds of lizard muscle. And they're wearing the same garb and vestments that your friends in the bandit camp were wearing. And it's clear that they are of that faction. And they've got a scroll in one of their hands. The orc carries a war hammer in one of his hands. The dragonborn has a big broadsword strapped across his back. And he's got a scroll. And he looks at the scroll, and then he starts looking around the room, and he looks back at the scroll, and he looks around the room, and then they start kind of menacingly going over to patrons and thumping them on the shoulder and pointing to the scroll and then pointing around the room and getting a look at their faces. And it's clear that they're looking for someone.
Is there a back door I can sort of quietly just...
Let's ask Drury.
So, yeah, go ahead and ask Drury.
Drury, we need to get out of here. Please, can you help?
Oh, I think, yeah, okay. Yeah, this happens a lot. So here's what we're going to do. Hop over the bar, and she leans down, and she pulls up, just by her feet, a hatch that leads to a tunnel underneath the bar. And she says, you go down here, it's going to take you across the street to the next house over. Scope it out, wait till you know it's all clear. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to run into town. Now, my advice is this. You're going to want to run to the covered market, right in the center. And you're going to want to ask for a guy called Welfer. He's a wizard friend of mine. You tell him that I sent you. You use my name. You tell him you got to lay low for a little while, and he'll look out for you. He'll take care. So quick, get out of here before you cause any trouble. And she hurries you into the hole.
Okay.
Oh, sweet.
I guess we continue along the tunnel then.
Yeah.
What a nice
So
woman.
you move down this tunnel. It's 30 feet long. It's well kept. There's a couple torches that spring to life. They have a spell on them. They spring to life when you come down. And then as you go down to the other end, there's a ladder up to another closed hatch at the other side.
We knock on the hatch.
Nothing happens. It's silent.
Oh, good.
Let's,
We try and open the hatch.
It swings right open, and
Carefully.
you're standing in just like a storeroom, sort of like a barn shed style, with just some equipment and a couple wagons and this and that. But it's just an empty room of stuff. There's no one there. There's no lights on. It's just a quiet, empty room. And then you can see through the window the tavern across the street, but the street's between you, and you're out on the other side.
Is there anybody like stood outside the tavern, like more bandits type thing?
Nope, no. There's
fine.
some wagons parked there, and you can see patrons. It's a busy tavern. You see patrons coming and going, but you don't recognize anybody, and no one sort of milling about is wearing the.
Yeah, so it doesn't look like the two are part of a bigger group.
No, they seem to just be kind of knocking on doors and seeing if they can find some people. It's not the whole cavalry hasn't run into town.
Well, what did she tell us to do? Just go to the covered market?
And ask for welfare.
All right.
Yeah, let's head to the covered market.
So you guys make your way down that road there. If you remember the map that you stole from the bandits, you make your way down from that sort of northeasternly corner down the road to the gates, and the guards pay you no mind. The gates are wide open. It's the middle of the day, and you walk down the main thoroughfare to the big plaza that's against the river, and you see this huge covered market. And it's like, if any of you have ever been to like a bazaar or a souk, it's this sort of classic idea of this huge trading hub. There's dozens of tables and stalls piled with everything from clothes to spices to swords and weird unrecognizable items that glow faintly and emit strange noises and strange smells. And it's just this sort of crush of people, and people are bartering and buying and selling, and people are shouting, $3 for $1, 3 for a gold piece, what do you need? And it's this big thrumming atmosphere of humanity, and all the races that you can see and all the things that you could ever want are sort of milling about in this very busy market. This is where, out of sort of character, you have the opportunity to buy stuff if you want to buy anything quickly.
This is... I don't have a shopping list because there wasn't really much I could buy. Because I can't afford armor or a weapon. I can afford a weapon, actually.
I might, if I was you. You are an adventurer, after all.
Yes. I think... somebody else can go while I just quickly remember what it was I was getting, because I wrote it down somewhere.
Does anybody else want to pick up anything while you're here?
The only thing I would look for is an arcane focus of a staff. There is one that I might be able to get my hands on.
Okay. So you're looking around, and you don't see anything specific, but there's still more of the market to explore, and you got to find this Welfare person as well. So on your way there, you may well run into one. So keep that in the back of your mind.
Yeah, that's what I'll be looking for.
And do I see anywhere selling a hand axe by any chance?
Oh yeah, there's a table.
Okay.
Where there's like a blacksmith guy that's just sort of trucked his stuff into the market, and it's full of all manner of stuff, ranging from your simple sort of iron hand axes right the way up. He looks like he's got some pretty nice, like, adamantine or mithril stuff that's closer to him where no one can steal it. So he's kind of got a variety of stuff, and you just want one hand axe.
That's 5 gold according to the handbook, so I will take 5 out of my 8, and I'll take a hand axe.
And he sells it to you and wishes you well. So you may, so just subtract 5 and go ahead and add a hand axe to your stuff.
Yep, got it.
Anyone else want to buy anything?
No, I'm good.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Well, in that case, you're still in this market, and you got to find welfare.
Okay, let's. Why don't we ask the guy you bought the axe from, seeing as you've got a bit of a rapport with him now?
Sure. Yes. Sir. Yes. Now that I've partaken some of my gold towards you, don't suppose you know of a person called Welfare around here?
Oh yes, welfare. Yes, we all know welfare. Everybody knows welfare. Right over there. And he points just about 40 meters up the market, not in the covered bit itself, but just on the side street off. There's a permanent, there's sort of shops fronts and houses and things. And there's a bright purple shop front with a big window, and it says Welfare's Wizard Wonders on it.
Ooh.
Welfare's he's the wizard. He runs a shop, so you're going to want to go if you need looking for him. He's just over there.
WWW, that'll never catch on.
Nah. Well, if we're all done buying stuff, I guess we could head to this
Anything
wonderful.
I might need would be more likely to find in the wizard shop.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess we can just head to the wonderful.
Yeah, great. So you head to Welford's Wizard Wonders, and as you approach, the whole thing's painted a bright purple color, and there's a huge window, and in the window, a door next to it, and in the window, you can see these sort of bizarre, arcane, vague wizard-like devices hanging, and spell components, and sitting in the front like shriveled lizard, and this and that. And as you walk in the door, you hear a bell chime. And one whole wall is full of drawers that are about 3 by 5, and the whole thing, floor to ceiling, is covered in drawers, and they're all labeled things like powdered newt and eye of toad and diamond dust, and sort of spell casting ingredients that you might need. And then one wall is arrayed with a variety of wands and staves and cloaks and wizard garb, and there's tables loaded up with stuff, and it's just your one-stop shop for your wizarding need. And as the bell chimes, Welfer appears from the back, and Welfer is an elf. He's about 5'9", and he comes out and he's in these floor-length, bright cobalt blue wizard robes. He's got well-trimmed white hair tied up in a top knot and a short and very well-manicured beard. He's an old wood elf, so he's probably 650 years old at a stretch, just judging by sort of the natural age cycle of elves. And he comes out and he holds himself, and he's very dignified. And he says, "Hello, how may I help you today?"
Drury has sent us Welfare. We got into a spot of trouble with the local bandits who came looking for us, and she sent us your way. Said you'd be able to help us.
Ah, yes. Well, I do owe Drury a great deal of debt, and so I will be more than happy to make sure that you are well taken care of. What seems to be the nature of your predicament?
May have burnt some of their camp to the ground.
Yeah.
Well, that's unfortunate. What can I do to help?
Well, firstly, I would ask if you would have a magical arcane focus staff that I could purchase from you. I seem to have lost mine in said burning.
Yes, of course. This is sort of my business, you see.
Mine too.
Go ahead and just pick one up and bring it over. And
I'll ruffle through some staffs and find one that I like.
Yep. So there's stabs, there's wands, there's some orbs, crystal orbs, which you could use. It's just sort of a mishmash of pretty much anything that you could hold in your hand, from large to small. So you've got kind of the run of the place. You pick out whatever you want.
I'll have a look for just a simple old wand, and I'll hold it up and give it a little Harry Potter swish and flick. And then I'll say, would you be interested in selling this for 8 gold?
I would be very interested in selling that to you for 8 gold, considering it's normally priced at 3.
Is it? Not according to... Okay, well...
Well, you
I could give you 3.
That's fine. You see, the one that you've got there is not new. It's refurbished, and I have to say it's a bit titchy, but it's a good deal. If you'd like a new one, I can give you a new one for 8 gold.
No, this one should do fine.
Right, and he takes your gold and sticks it in one of some pocket deep in his robes.
Just a very quick and specific request. I don't suppose you have a small silver mirror that costs maybe about 3 gold.
A what, Mia?
A small silver mirror.
Yes, you're in a wizard shop, son.
Well,
and he points over to where there is literally a bucket full of different shapes and sizes of mirrors of a variety of. You go to the mirror bucket and you have to take a pick.
The mirror bucket.
Can I give you a gold for one of these?
Yeah. Well, did you not just offer me more than one?
I don't think so.
You're a very poor salesman. Yes, I will sell you a very small silver mirror, and you may have it for 1 gold piece.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, of course. Now, Drury mentioned to come and talk to me, and you have some trouble with bandits. If I may make a suggestion, It's advised that you should sort of I'd get out of town if I were you for the next couple of days. And I'm very happy to help. You see, I'm just about to head into the Valley of the Tombs. And there's nobody over there. It's in the middle of nowhere, and I'm going to see if I can't suss out some more magical items to add to my inventory. So I was just going to go, and I'd be very happy to take you 4 strapping young lads to come along and help me out.
Oh, well, that's an offer. Well, would there be any? Sorry, would there be any recompense for such a task?
Well, you're very welcome to. All I'm looking for are magical items. You're very welcome to any of the gold or swords and other things that we may find in the tomb and that kind of thing. Most of them are full of this and that. But all I'm looking for are things that I'd be able to sell here in my shop. So you can have whatever else you like, and if there's something that I might want that you also want, then we can come to some agreement.
I'd be happy to spend some more time in such an accomplished arcanist.
Sounds good.
I'm
Had
happy.
me old.
Very good. Well, then we shall set off at once. And he walks into the back, and he comes back with just a small pack that he's flung over his shoulder and a wizard staff, and says, "There's no time to waste. Let's be on our way."
Well,
and he. Oh, go ahead.
sorry. Before we leave the welfare, do you perchance have any just plain spell books?
Just a blank book.
Yes.
Yes, over there on the bookshelf.
How
And he
much
points,
would they
and there's
be?
just a row of them. He said, one of the smaller leather-bound ones you could have for 3 or 4 gold pieces. Any of the larger, more ornate ones with more pages would be a bit more.
I just need to fill a simple need, so I'll take a spell book, and then I'll see if there's like an extra quill and a little bit of ink for 2 gold.
Fine. Well, I tell you what, I'll give you this nice sort of fine leather book with about 100 pages, and I'll give you this quill and that bottle of black ink, and you can have the lot for 4 gold pieces.
That's super. Thank you very much.
Yes. 4.
I could do with some parchment and quill as well. What would I need for that?
Right. You may have. Well, how many? Just one.
5 parchments and 1 quill.
Right. Do you have a silver piece?
I do.
Right. I'll take that.
Okay, that's fine. 1 silver piece. There you go.
Thank you very much. And he gives you what you're looking for.
And just very quickly, out of character, I needed holy water at some point, so can we just assume that at some point I managed to get to the temple and just grab some holy water?
Were you not there talking to Conga?
Yes, you were.
Yes,
you were the
that's
one
where I got my...
Last week. 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we were there. So can I just assume that I grabbed some holy water while I
Yeah,
was there?
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Thank you. And that's me restocked, thank you.
Good. Shall we then? Anyone else need anything before we crack on?
Not unless you have a full plate armor lying around.
It's not quite my area of expertise, I'm afraid.
Or
Sorry, that was under my breath.
He has very good hearing. He's an elf.
Yes, true.
Right, off we go. Out the door, and I'll lock it behind me. And
Right,
so
okay.
he shoos you out the door and turns, and with a wave of his hand, he casts a spell, and you hear a variety of locks sort of click into place. And for a moment, you see a shimmer right in front of the door and the window. And Jornan, as a wizard, you know that they've just put a protective spell over the place. And he says, right, well, we shall have to go across the river, so follow me to the docks. And he starts marching off purposefully towards the river where there's a dock, and there's a ferry service that goes back and forth. And so he walks over there. Do you follow him?
Yes, certainly.
Yeah.
Okay. So he makes his way over. It takes 2-3 minutes. He's pretty close. And he gets there and he goes to the ferryman and he says, "Hello!" And the ferryman recognizes him and goes, "Well, howdy. You going back over to the Valley of Tombs there?" Yes, we're just on our way over, me and my guests. Oh, all right. Well, I tell you what, normally I'm charging you all kinds of money, but because it's you, I'm going to take you across for nothing. Oh, that's very kind, thank you. Right, gentlemen, pile in, and we'll make our way across the river.
Let's all get in then.
So you all pile in, and the guy with his big, long barge pole pushes off, and he punts across the river. And it's a pleasant journey as the water rushes by. And eventually you make it to the other side. And unlike the town side, which is a very large dock for barges and all kinds of things, on the other side of the river, it's really a very simple dirt road, which leads right onto a small wooden pier with room for maybe 1 or 2 fairies. Just a little sort of spit of a thing. It doesn't look very stable, and with an experienced air about him. Our wizard friend jumps up, and Welfer leaps onto the thing and walks straight off to the dirt road without looking behind him until he gets sort of 10 feet up the road, and he turns and says, "Are you coming?"
Certainly, yeah, I'm following right behind him.
Good. So he begins to walk down this dirt path, and it begins to wind back and forth up this large hill, and it's well wooded. It's a nice area. It's sort of the same biome as the woods that you were in before, so it feels very familiar, but it's a very well-worn, quite wide dirt path, and you walk for the better part of a day until you get to the top of the hill. And as you get to the top of the hill, it's just as the sun begins to set, and you look out over the valley, and you can see this enormous rolling valley with large hills on each side. The whole thing's covered in heavily wooded trees, but every so often you can see old columns or old temples sort of poking up here and there, and rolling off into the distance, almost as far as the eye can see. And Welfer turns to you and he says, "Do you know anything about this place?"
We've heard that people come to search for magical accoutrement and items, but not much more than that.
Does anybody want to roll a history check?
I can certainly do that.
If they're temples, can I roll religion?
Well, they're ruined temples,
Oh,
so you can try, but...
Let's see.
Oh, I don't. History is not good for me, but yep, 9.
I got a 4.
Hey.
I got a 20.
Ho! You got a 20?
Natural plus +6 skill.
Who's that? Judd?
Yeah.
Very good. So, Judd, you know from your story of history, or from your studies of history as a wizard, what you know about magic, that this Valley of Tombs was a very prolific and popular burial site for all manner of the rich and powerful and magical, maybe about 3,000 or 4,000 years ago. So, a proper long time ago, and nobody's been buried there for quite some time, before Broadford was ever established. It was very popular to dig into these hills and create elaborate tomb structures based on beliefs held at the time. And you could be a king or a prince, but you could also be a very, very powerful wizard or some sort of lord, the liege lord that's taken on power or used magic to gain that kind of thing. And so you know that the reason that people like to come and search for magical items here is because there were so many hundreds and hundreds of people buried in this couple-mile-long canyon that there are still, even thousands of years later, undiscovered tombs with potentially extraordinarily powerful magical items, or just sort of piles of treasure, this, that, or the other. And so it's one of the reasons that you, Jordan, had ended up coming to Broadford. Was not the only one, but you had heard about this, and I'm sure you were curious.
Yeah. I'll relay as much of that information.
And you say all that, yeah, I'm sure. Welfer looks quite pleased at that. Yes, well, very well done. Well, my recommendation is this, chaps. Why don't we set up camp here until the morning, and then we can make a proper go of it. I don't think we're going to get to the valley floor today, and it would be wise to make sure that we're all well rested. Does anyone have any objections?
What are we like? Are we above a cliff or something?
No, you're just on the sort of, you've crested over the top of a hill,
slope,
and there's
yeah.
a small clearing, and you can see down into the valley. Path continues down this road, but it's a bit of a walk to get to the floor of the valley. And so he's just recommending if you camp up here, then in the morning you can go and start picking out, find a tomb.
Can I'll ask him, are we likely to have any trouble from bandits or Wendigos tonight?
Oh, well, I said, no, not with me. I come quite often, and I'm very capable of taking care of myself. And as an elf, I don't need to sleep. And so I just sort of go into meditative trance. So if you're worried about that kind of thing, by all means, fall asleep. I will keep the watch and tend the fire. And if anything gives you trouble, then I'll let you know. But I'm a very good wizard, so I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Can I do a perception check to check how truthful that was?
Sure.
Oh, 6 in total. I need to burn my dice.
God's honest word.
You have absolutely no reason to say he was lying.
Okay. Okay.
I can rest then. Yes.
Happy to go to sleep.
So you guys set up camp, and you pitch, the fire, and you lay out your mats, and you go to sleep. And as you fall asleep, you just see Wilfer sitting there by the fire, tending it with his hand, making the flames a bit brighter using magic, and holding his staff in his lap. And as you drift off to sleep, that's the last thing you see.
Please be there when we wake up. Please be there when we wake up.
The next morning, you awaken to dawn and the songs of birds and whatnot, and the fire's burned down, and you don't see him immediately. He's not around, but the fire's still warm, and his pack is still there next to the fire. It's just him and the staff have gone missing.
Okay, just out for a morning walk. Somewhere, hopefully.
Do we see any footsteps anywhere?
Yeah, you can. The ground's kind of done. You can step sort of leading off into the woods, but you couldn't tell how fresh they were.
At the risk of attracting things, I'm just going to call out Welfare.
Yeah,
in the distance, you hear what?
Morning.
Probably gone through his morning ritual.
ablutions.
Yes, I'm just interrupted him, unfortunately.
About 5-10 minutes later, he comes with a rabbit in his hand, and he said, "What? Is everything all right?"
Yes, we just didn't know where you were.
Oh, I was out getting breakfast. And he starts dressing the rabbit and getting it ready to cook on the fire, and with a wave of his hand, the fire springs back to life.
I've been thinking, I wonder if we should show him the bandits map just to double check. He seems a really nice man, and feel really bad if we've got a map that's targeting him for to be looted. We can show him it, can't we?
Do you show him the map?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, sure,
What do we
that
think?
might be.
Yeah. So, yeah. Hey,
He looks
Welford,
at it.
take a look at this.
What's this? What do you have here?
This is a map we got from the bandits, and just, you've been so kind to us. I just wanted to make sure that you're not a target of the bandits according to this map, and or anyone you care about.
He runs his eyes over the map and says, "No." And then he sort of chuckles quietly, and he says, "Well, I never did like that Elven snow spear, so right, good on them for picking him out. But right, no, everything's. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that."
So, Welfare, what's our plan now?
Right, so he pours out some cooked rabbit. He hands it round, and you all have a bite. And as he munches, he says, "Well, I thought we'd spend the morning getting to the valley floor, and then we can begin to nose around. And if you see anything, do shout. There's really no wrong answer here. It might take us a little bit to get into some of the unchecked areas, and I remember which ones I've gone to. But if you see something that looks like the entrance to a tomb or a cave or something like that, just shout, and we can have a look." And he takes a big bite of rabbit.
Okay. Are we eating rabbit as well, or is he just
He's
from
passed
us?
around and sort of chunked it out and giving you some breakfast.
Not just showing off.
Sonny offers him a drink.
Oh, thank you. It is very early, but all right, we are on an adventure, I suppose. And he takes a really, really, really hearty glug of your liquor and says, "That's quite nice."
And Sonny just gives him a kind of a nod, like, "Wow, okay, well done, sir."
He's a professional.
Yes, Sonny can tell him that.
And so he gathers up his things, and he begins to lead you down towards the valley floor. And it does take the better part of the morning. It's a perfectly pleasant morning. The sun is shining. Birds are singing. It's a nice day for a walk in the woods. And no Wendigos to be heard or seen. And he's just sort of strolling about. And every so often he'll point out a tree or a bird, or you'll see a tomb or a cave, a smaller one just off to the side, and he'll point it out. also a bit to you, telling about either if he's been there or who's in it, what's in there. And then it's sort of the mid-morning lunch time, and you've made your way all the way to the and you've gone a bit of a distance back, and you're just sort of walking along the path. And now let's see. I want you to roll a perception check.
Perception.
I'm on a total of 8.
12 for me.
I am a 7.
18.
Oh, nice. Who was that? Was that Trevor?
That was
Yeah.
Okay. So with an 18, you notice coming up ahead that there's some crunching, large animal sounds, snuffling. There's clearly some sort of large animal just on the other side of the next turn, and you've heard it.
Oh, I stopped the group and relayed that information to everyone.
Perhaps a nature check to see if we can decipher the noises and recognise. I've got 16 in total.
Okay.
Nature. I'm not gonna.
Not even gonna bother.
I'll just ready my wand if I need it.
I got a 13.
I tell you who should roll would be our friend Welfer. Nature is an intelligence check, I want to say.
Yes, it is.
That's right, yeah.
He rolled a 6. So, who had the highest?
Sunny on 16.
So 16. That's decent. You are semi-familiar with the area, so or rather with the sort of the climate, and you have a pretty good guess. You can't be sure because you haven't seen it yet, but you're pretty sure it sounds like 1 or maybe 2 owl bears.
Owl bears, okay.
Uh-oh.
Well, as you know, Sunny can do good impressions. I could...
Oh, God.
No, maybe that's not appropriate right now. What do we know about owlbears? They sound vicious.
They so an owl bear, you can Google the picture, but it's essentially a fucking huge bear, like a bear, but it's got the head of an owl.
Bear-sized owl head.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It's just a bear, but with the head of an owl, and they are quite strong, I will say.
So not an owl-sized bear.
No, it's a bear-sized bear with an owl beak head, and bear toothy head.
Okay.
Nice.
My resources are in order.
Let's. Can we ask Welfer? Is it worth working our way around these, or are they blocking our path to a decent tomb?
Is Welfer concerned that there are owl bears around?
Welfer looks a bit uneasy. Owl bears are pretty tough, and he is a decent wizard. Just kind of depends, like a unfantasy bear. It kind of depends on the situation. So he says, "Right, chaps, keep your voices low. What I would recommend is that someone go and just have a quick peek around the corner and see if they can't suss out if it's 1 or 2 or what their position is. Because if it's 1, then we stand a pretty good chance of frightening it away. But if there's more than 1, or if the situation's a bit tenuous, then I would recommend we try something else."
I will. I'll just push Josh forward a bit.
I don't. I'm not sneaky.
Sonny's got a pretty good stealth, although he hasn't been very good recently. But he's got a +5 on my stealth. So
yeah, I think we send Sonny. I think Taylor's going to hide somewhere.
Well, he didn't. Okay. He didn't drink too much this morning. So oh god, 5 + 5 is 10.
Okay, so you sneak around. And you look around the corner, you just kind of peek out behind a tree, and the owlbears are otherwise occupied, so your 10 is good enough that you sort of got the drop on them, as it were, to get a look at seeing what's going on. And what you see is, I don't know what the terminology would be, a big male owlbear, and a smaller female owlbear, and a set of 3 cubs.
Oh.
And they're standing in this, basically smack dab in the middle of the road.
They don't. Surely they don't want to mean us harm. They're just having a little family day out.
Owl bears are particularly vicious.
If they protect their children, they're gonna be pretty fearsome, aren't they? If they see us as a threat to their children.
So, do we feel that we can work our way around them without boring them?
We do have 2 mighty wizards with us,
Yeah, I suppose.
but there's no need to get ourselves into issue if we don't need to.
Sonny, have you relayed the information back?
Oh yeah,
to
so
Carly?
I'll sneak back.
So do me a favor. Roll another stealth check to sneak out.
Okay. 23.
Okay,
total.
that's pretty fucking sneaky. You don't even touch the ground. You're so sneaky.
It's the fear of owlbears chasing him.
And so you relay that, and Welfer pipes up while you guys are deliberating. Listen, I've seen this kind of thing before, and owlbears are just the worst. I would really recommend, especially if they've got children, that we find one near here. A tomb, that is.
Okay.
That seems like a good idea too.
Yeah, I think we do that.
Okay, so everybody go ahead and just roll a quick perception check and take a look around.
Perception.
Oh, I should get...
Sonny's
I'll
on
do it
18 in total.
Ooh, nice.
14 for Judd.
8.
18, 14, 8. And
I got-
Welfer has a 22.
Ooh. Nice.
So
I got-
you all look around and you see some obvious ones, but Welfer immediately looks around and he says, "Right, chaps, look. And he points. And to all of you, it just looks like more forest. He says, Do you see it?
Not quite.
Not another Wendigo, is it?
It's not.
My spell's ready.
If it's a light, I'm not following it.
It's the daytime, but okay. So he says, right, come, and he begins to lead you off of the main path and over to what looks like a perfectly ordinary bit of forest. And as you get closer and closer, you begin to see that this particular patch of forest, it doesn't quite look like the rest of the forest. It's not 100% exactly right.
Oh, interesting.
Is there anything magical that we can determine from it?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Why don't you
Yeah.
find out?
I think that's Jordan's
Yeah.
area.
Well, why roll for it when I can ask?
Yeah, let's ask Welfer.
It seems like a strange area, but you're quite comfortable around here.
Yes.
What
Yes.
interesting effect is going on here?
It's very interesting. Look, watch this. And he picks up a stick and he chucks it at this weird area, and the stick just goes zoom, straight through it.
Oh,
He
illusion.
says, it's very clever. It's a glamour. It's an illusion spell, and it's meant to cover up the entrance to a tomb. Now, the fact that it's still intact tells me that the tomb itself may or may not yet be discovered. So there may be a very good chance of us finding something.
Are you able to dispel such a thing?
Oh, yes. And he waves a hand, and the illusion vanishes. And you can see a sort of a funnel-shaped enclosure leading to just a simple stone doorway, about 5 feet wide, 5 feet, 10 feet tall. Just 3 huge blocks of stone. And then on the side of the funnel, there's also, some trees that have fallen over and whatnot. And then there's a bloody great boulder just pressed up against the dirt, all sort of funneling into this stone doorway.
Looks good to me. Welfer,
Yep.
let's do this.
Right.
I will pick up a stone next to us and cast a light onto it.
Very good. And Welford taps his staff on the ground, and it also begins to glow. And he says, "Right, let's go." And you begin to head into your very first dungeon. Although it is indeed a tomb. So you are walking. You're walking down a very. It's a comfortably wide hallway, a shaft. And it's just sort of tall enough. It's maybe 6 or 7 feet tall.
go
So
on.
you're not sorry.
No, sorry, my daughter's just not.
Oh, no worries. Is she gonna roll or? No.
She's waving.
And so you walk down this hallway, and there's some steps down, and you probably descend it feels like maybe 20 or 30 feet off of the level of the doorway that you originally found, until you come into a chamber. And the light that you throw on either side of the chamber reveals an enormous sarcophagus flanked by some small chests and jars, which have been broken open. And there's some illustrations on the walls and some sort of ritual tables here and there. And in the room with you are, in fact, two giant hyenas.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's
Lovely.
And they are sort of just kipped up. They're just resting there. They're not asleep, and they see you, and they begin to growl.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Only one thing to do then, isn't there?
Let's. Do you think we could just try and usher them out the door?
I'll cast Burning Hands.
Oh, okay. Here we go. All right, everybody, roll initiative for me.
Oh shit. That's a mighty one.
Who got one?
Me, Judge.
Judd.
So
18 for Josh.
total, but it's not.
So wait, sorry, Judd. What was it?
Three total, natural one.
Oh, fantastic. Who got what then?
I got
18 for
7.
Josh.
7 for Valoran.
Yep, 18 for Josh.
18 for Josh. Hey,
Sunny is on 11.
11. Okay. 11. Right. So, which hyena are you gonna? Who cast Burning Hands? Jordan.
Jordan, yeah.
Who are you targeting? Which hyena?
It's a area of effect if they are within 15 feet, I believe it is.
Of each other, or
Yes. It's a
yeah. So the room's
15-foot
about
cone.
15 feet wide, 15 feet long.
It's a 15
So-
feet cone from me, and I'll be at the front, and
Perfect. So both of them. So
that will be a dexterity saving throw. for
all
both
right,
of them.
they are fairly dexterous. Right, Hyena 1 rolls a 17.
That'll pass.
Yep. Hyena 2 rolls a 14.
That will 8 plus 2 plus 4. My DC is 14.
Okay, so you
Oh,
win
you
that
will.
one then.
Right, okay. I will
So,
have that 14.
What? How much damage?
Am I pressing the right button? 3. No, not 18. 14, sorry.
14 damage.
Yeah, 3d6.
Jesus wept. All right, very good. So you.
Half that for successful save.
Oh, okay. So
14
7
and
then
7.
for the other one.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Nice. Okay,
Very nice
next up
brand.
is one of the giant hyenas who is going to take a run and a jumping leap at Thalar.
Oh god, I've got no armor on.
And it's going to snap its jaws and attempt to bite you.
Yeah.
And it got a natural 1.
Hey!
And so it snaps and it eats air, and then it tumbles on the ground and slams against the wall and takes 2 damage as a result.
Nice.
It is not the smartest thing in the world. Right, next up is Thalar.
Okay, the hyena that just tried to take a snap at me,
Yeah.
how far is it from me now?
5 feet, less than 5 feet.
Okay. Yeah, less than 5 feet. So I'm just gonna go for it with my hand axe, I think.
Okay, so
Have a whack at that.
so what's your attack roll then?
Attack roll is do you add proficiency? No, you just
Yes.
Yeah, you
Your
roll.
attack is
You roll.
proficiency plus
It's
your modifier.
melee. It's your roll plus strength.
Oh.
And if
plus-
you have proficiency in hand axes or whatever, then you can
I
add
do.
it as well.
So it'll be +1 for strength, +2 for proficiency. So that is a 13 overall.
13?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do it. So go ahead and slice him.
Okay, and that was 1d6 slashing. Where's my d6? Sorry, I forgot which one. D6. Oh, it's d6 is a normal dice. Where is it? 1.
Oh, well,
Yay!
you take a swing and you take a small sort of nick on the ear and growls, and you didn't do very well.
That
Next
is
is
1
Sunny.
plus. That's 1 plus your strength, so it would be 2.
2. Hey.
Yay!
Hey, that's double the damage you were gonna do.
That's true.
Yeah.
You are
Right.
welcome.
Sunny Wukong.
Okay. I'm going to move forwards and hit the injured one from the burning hand or whatever it was with my quarterstaff.
Is this the same one that tried to attack Thalar, or the other one? One is still on the other side of the room.
Which one took the burning originally?
They both did.
Ah, right.
One did worse. The one that's on the other side of the room did worse.
I'm going to go after the one that's done worse.
Okay.
And I've rolled 20.
Yeah, that'll definitely do it.
Okay, 1d6 plus 3 bludgeoning. 3 plus 3 is 6 in total.
6, fantastic. So, okay, great.
And
Next
then I
is-
get to do my
that's right.
bonus unarmed strike.
Go on then.
This time it's 1d20 plus 2, 17 in total.
Yeah, that'll do it.
And then 1d4 plus 1, 2 in total.
Your unarmed
Fantastic.
strikes are melee weapons, so they should be. Oh, you're still on a D4 dice. For your monk weapon.
For the unarmed strike is d4, yeah.
Is it? It should be. Whatever your monk weapon is. But never mind, come on. Sorry.
Right, next up is Valoran.
Let's see. I'll go and attack the one that attacked Thalar.
Okay. How are you going to do that? What are you going to use?
Thanks, buddy.
My longsword.
Great. So go
Just
ahead and
gonna
roll your...
slash his body.
Yeah, roll your attack roll.
Would be a natural 20.
Way.
Oh, critical hit.
Yeah.
Shut up.
So,
Alright.
go ahead and roll your damage then and double it.
8. So that would be... Yeah, that would be 8, and then plus 3 from slashing is, what, 11. And then I don't add my strength modifier to it. do
No,
I?
that is the +3.
Okay.
Yeah, so 11.
Yeah.
Nice.
11.
And what is your pithy remark?
Yeah, you have to do, if you critical hit, you gotta give a one line.
Don't attack my dwarf. He's mine.
Yeah. Take
Ew.
that.
Good. So
She's
next
got
up is the burned giant hyena, the one on the other end of the, who is going to not take very kindly to Sunny Wukong's actions and take a great big snap at him, and rolls a 6.
Oh, bear with me.
Sorry, that was wrong. It's +5 to hit, so
11.
8.
My AC is 14.
So no dice. Next up
Who's
is...
laughing now is my comeback to a hyena.
That's a good one. You should have saved it. You never know if you got a crit. Next up is our friend Welfer. Welfer turns to the burned hyena.
Power word kill. 9th level.
he's not a 20th level wizard, I'm afraid.
You'd only have to be 17th, just technically.
Or 17th anyway. He's not quite there
I
yet.
suspected as much, but
He is in fact a 6th level wizard. But yeah, so he is going to cast Thunder Wave. A dazzling array of flashing colored light springs from your hand. Oh, sorry, that's color spray. I want Thunder Wave. Color spray is very different.
yes, it is.
Fucking hell. Sorry, hang on.
He's so clever with that.
Stupid thing. Right, Thunder Wave. A wave of thunderous force sweeps out from you. Each creature in a 15-foot cube must make a Constitution saving throw. Maybe not the smartest choice, but go ahead and everybody roll your Constitution saving throws to see if you get pushed.
Is the saving throw a D20?
Yes, plus whatever modifier you
For con.
Sunny's on 15.
Valoran's 7.
Okay.
Con. Josh is 11.
You got to beat a 15. So I don't know that anybody did.
I'm dead.
Next up is our friend Sunny.
Oh, I'm dead.
Sunny. Right. So
Sunny,
Natural 20.
Sunny equaled it. Is that okay?
well, I tell you what I've forgotten. Yes, you did. You're okay. But what I forgot was that Welfer, as a 6th level and a member of the School of Transmutation, has the ability to sculpt spells around people.
Ah.
So, in fact, all I need is for the hyenas to do that, because he
cool.
has the ability to move the spell around you.
I think we still make saves though, don't we?
For spell sculpting.
Yes. If you succeed on the save, you take no damage. If you fail, it still counts as a succeed. So you take half damage on a fail if that's what he's doing.
Okay, so well then you'll take half damage.
Oh,
I will tell you how much it's going to be. Both hyenas. One hyena saved, one hyena failed. So you are going to take 1d8 thunder damage. And that's going to be a whopping 1 point of damage. And the hyena also takes 1 point of damage. Welfer off to a very impotent start. And
I was suitably impressed by his ability to sculpt spells, though. I think that's quite cool.
Yeah,
As
well,
a fellow magician, I cannot do that. But so it's
not
quite
yet
cool.
anyway. But maybe this is the impetus for helping to learn that. Next up is Jordan.
Okay, I will go with a Ray of Frost, I think. Oh no, they can't go anywhere. I will stick